Welcome. So
Butchered
glad to
that.
have you.
Hey, we appreciate y'all having us on, man.
Oh,
Y'all came on our
Absolutely.
show doing the cross promotion. We appreciate the relationship that's forming.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So I'd like to start off real quick by just telling you some career numbers. This is a 3-year career, by the way. Games played 21, completions 275, attempts 455. It's a 60% completion percentage. You've got 3,205 yards, averaging 7 yards a throw, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and 86 QBR. How do we feel
This
about
guy's
that?
in the pros.
This guy's in the
Justin
pros.
Fields.
I'm like, well,
No, I thought
granted,
that was
with
Jordan
four-
Love.
I'm like, no, he's technically throwing better than us.
That's Jordan Love. That's
Yeah, I
Jordan
thought
Love's
that was-
stats. That's
That's
Jordan
Jordan Love
That's Jordan
For
Love's
all-
stats for
for
his
11
first 3
games.
seasons. No, that's 3 seasons.
That's career.
That's career 21
Then
games.
that's why you got me right there because you said that.
Yeah, I thought
You
that
know,
was.
I- it's-
I thought that was the
it's-
season right now.
No, I
No,
said
when he
21
said-
games.
When he said 21 games and he said 3,500 yards, I was like, that's somebody
I'm like, because Justin,
who just started. It's just coming off the bench, who hasn't had a lot of lead time. And the only person that stands out to me is Jordan Love right off the bench. Obviously, you got Josh Dobbs and guys like that, but Jordan Love is when I think about guys who they have all this promise, this potential, but set behind it, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You tend to sit there. So now he's finally getting his opportunity. And I think Green Bay's kind of learning like you don't get 3 legends like that back to back. It's
Oh,
hard
God,
to
no.
do.
It's very hard. Now check this out.
however, though, he is playing a little bit better these last few games.
Absolutely.
That's the
Now-
experience he didn't get
now-
sitting behind Aaron Rodgers.
Now, Jordan Love, through 11 games, has 2,500 yards, almost 2,600, 2,599, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, with a 88, 87 QBR.
It's pretty
Aaron-
decent.
Aaron Rodgers, his first full season, had 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 13 interceptions with a 93 QBR. I gotta tell the Green Bay fans out there to just enjoy this process. I think Green Bay's figured it out.
I think they're sitting really pretty with him because he didn't have the pressure the first 2 years. Like you
Yeah.
don't have the pressure to come in and lead Green Bay and go into a playoff on the road because maybe you're not as good. You don't have any of that pressure. Aaron Rodgers had all of that pressure. So and he folded. Sometimes he folded.
Yeah,
Mike McCarthy got bounced out of Green Bay for that reason, right?
which
So
kind of
now-
blows my mind. Yeah. With Mike McCarthy, he was 8-9 in the playoffs. Without him, I think he's 1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And McCarthy's doing some magical things down
The crazy thing that Aaron Rodgers, that his streak was broken in Green Bay. Well, the Lambeau streak was broken. We'll say the Packers streak of 300-yard games. It was 20-some games, and Rodgers was there for every one of them up until this season. And he didn't throw a 300-yard game. And he had way better weapons. He had Devante. You can't tell me he couldn't throw. Hell, Devante had a 180-yard game in between there. And he didn't have
He
a
even had
300-yard
Jordy
game.
Nelson before that. He had Jordy
Yeah.
Nelson.
Yeah.
So he had solid number 1 receivers and tight ends. Let's not sleep on the tight ends that he had.
Oh
to throw
yeah.
to.
Jermichael Finley. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the defenses he had at times too was
spot on.
magical.
Trust me, I saw them.
Now, yeah. Now that the veil has been lifted, Aaron Rodgers is gone, and we're well into the first season without Aaron Rodgers. Looking back, I'm confused on where all of this glorious chatter came from. I'm glad it happened because it got us hooked up when we traded him. But other than that, I'm starting to hear what all the other NFC fans were talking about when they were like, dude's just a diva.
Yeah,
I'm
this
like,
is
absolutely.
the more I watch him on like the Pat McAfee show, the more I see him interviewed, the more I listen to him talk. The guy's a fucking prick. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him. JJ Watt, they came up to Alaska and did fucking PT with us.
Damn.
Pussies. They
Oh,
could fuck. They could only do half. They could only do half. And most of the time, there was a warp car fucking waiting for them, half mile into whatever the fuck we were doing. We did 7 hours of PT, and they were there for 45 fucking minutes. Fuck them. But
yeah, I don't ever.
JJ Watt is a dog, but the rest of
JJ Watt is a good dude. JJ Watt he's also a big, beat up, angry refrigerator of a fucking. The dude is JJ Watt is the human representation of a old ass 1950s pickup truck that's been through hailstorms.
Yeah.
He's beat to shit. His motor doesn't work as well as it used to. But god damn it, if you need him to plow some shit, you better get the fuck out of his way because he's gonna plow some shit.
Yeah, he'll break his back for you, literally.
The thing about Aaron Rodgers that I've noticed from the last couple years at Green Bay to now, especially like picking off of what Mike said, him being on the Pat show, like the arrogance on this guy is ridiculous.
He actually thinks he can win the Jets somewhere.
This is my thing, my guy. You are 39 years old. You literally tore your Achilles heel 2 seconds into your first full game as the Jets. And you're talking about coming back on Christmas Day. Yeah. Like you're going to come and save them and sit your old ass down somewhere.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he tear that at home?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was at home. Yeah.
That was Meth Life Stadium.
Yeah, and 2 seconds into that sweet offensive line, given all the protection they could.
Not only that, two of those guys are gone from that offensive line.
And where do the Jets get better? They've got no cap room because Aaron's expensive. They need an offensive line. How much Kool-Aid can you drink in New York before you're just the Kool-Aid man?
I think this is what teams are going to start to realize. If you hire a strictly defensive-minded coach, you're going to get shit offensive results.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh is not an offensive coach at all. He has no fucking idea how to call the play.
GM Rodgers,
GM
Rodgers brought in Nathaniel Hackett, Alan Lazard,
Hackett is
Randall
not hacking
Cobb.
Yeah, nobody in that organization. Look, I love Joe Douglas because he was an assistant GM for the Eagles when we won our Super Bowl. So he had a lot of things to do behind the scenes in 2017. But Joe has been fucking up. I don't know if the owners and him are not on the same page, but like he drafts well. Sauce Gardner, by far, if he's top 2 in the cornerbacks in the league, and I don't think it's number 2.
Look at their owner. It's all you need to do for the Jets. That tells you everything.
Woody in that box is ripping.
He's wearing he's iced out, man. Come on.
That whole organization, from the stadium to the owners' reputations to if you look at their players that get the ones that get reported on, who's their offensive lineman, Mekhi Becton or however you say his name, that is a complete bust. Like was supposed to be this OL guru, like he's gonna come in and change the way. Gotham City is back, and that motherfucker, he's not as
Gotham
good as
City's back because it's a dark time in New York.
I was gonna say
they need a Batman
since 2018.
The Joker's in the stands for sure.
It's a dark time in New York.
The Jets are 28-64 since 2018, the worst record in the NFL.
That dude is not as good as a third string offensive lineman on the Eagles team. Our third string is better than the New York Jets first string.
And even you look at the entire New York offense and defense, you have 4 players that would be number 2 at best on other comparable championship teams. Quentin Williams might get in more often than not, but depending on the team, he is a solid number 2 because of his age.
Great rotational player.
It's the Jets make me laugh, and they are not in a situation. Okay, so the 2018, the other really worst team here is Carolina, and I don't know who the fuck the Bears called to get what they fucking got from Carolina. But at one
They got
point, I'm
fleeced.
like, you guys got to fire the front office, dude. He had that saying where it's, I'm here to take the North and we're never going to give it back. But then everything comes back to this golden fucking goose that is Carolina. And I'm like, man, maybe this guy is more than I realized.
Do the
Stay tuned.
draft right. They're going to be very well off if they have a good draft.
If
The other thing you have to remember too is the Bears' offensive line is garbage.
dog water.
And this was one of my main points.
But they can fix that by having 5 picks in the first 120 picks of the draft.
So here's the thing, right? Okay, so the Bears are getting Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a fact. I don't
should
get
they?
it.
If
If
they
they don't,
meme though of him hiding in the corner.
if Paul, if they don't get
Hold up, I'm
Marvin
praying real
Harrison,
quick. Hold on. I'm praying real
Okay.
quick. All right, go ahead.
if they don't get Marvin Harrison Jr., I got a Kelly Green jersey with your name on it, brother.
I'm telling you right now, this is my thing. I say we keep the first overall draft pick and we trade away the second first round pick we have for either capital, veterans, or whatever the case may be. But just get rid of it. Whatever position we get.
It's looking like
That's
number
first
4.
overall.
More picks. Yep.
You got 1 and 4 right
If
now.
I promise you on everything that I love, if on that day, on April 25th, if I hear Derek May, Bo Nix, or anybody else other than Marvin Harrison Jr. on that first overall pick, I am flipping shit everywhere.
Here's a thought, though. DJ Moore is fantastic. He is a true number 1. Why not pick up old boy from Georgia, tight end?
The tight end.
Listen, at this point, anybody but a quarterback. Anybody but a quarterback.
Blocker, and he is fantastic.
His
hands
ankle
and
is
runs.
a question now, Charles, because he does
But he's
not
been
look
pla-
the same.
I've-
He doesn't
I've
look the
been-
same.
I've been against him playing since he came back,
But he ain't gonna stop playing, so he's
Yeah, that's
risking
the-
it for the biscuit. you
That's
know?
the problem. He plays in the SEC. Those injuries don't mean shit.
a TE and an OL with 1 and 4 set up Justin Fields for an actual year of an attempt to see
But
if
this
he's
is
better
the-
than 3 wins a season.
This
They
is the
never
thing
got
that I
more than
feel
3
like
wins a season.
this is why I feel like we're gonna move away from Justin Fields, and is I get it, but I hate it because if we pick up that 5th option, that is a lot of money that we're gonna have to pay him
For 35
fifth
fumbles in 35 games, and for somebody
I hear
who
you.
has never won more than three wins in a season.
This is my issue
Mitch
when it
Trubisky
comes to
with Matt Nagy went 11-3 in Aaron Rodgers' prime, and Matt Stafford approaching his prime.
this is
Justin
the thing
Fields
that
with Matt Nagy
we're-
went 2-8.
even if we draft Caleb Williams or May or Nix or Penix, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if we're not addressing that offensive line, it doesn't matter. We can get Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady in his prime. That line isn't blocking for anybody.
I agree.
Well, the thing is, here's an honest question. I'm going to go around the horn here with this question with all of you because I feel like all of you have a very good concept on the quarterback and who's a good quarterback in the NFL. I trust every one of your opinions and your judgments on this. Charles, we'll start with you. Who is better than Justin Fields as a quarterback that's in the draft right now?
That's in the draft right now. No one. Because
Exactly.
Justin Fields has proven in the NFL that he can play when he has somebody who blocks him. That's my answer.
All right, Mike.
I got the same answer. I don't see anybody who can. Justin Fields has shown not only can he play, he can make big fucking time plays when he gets the chance to cook.
All right, Paul, go ahead.
You see what's on my fucking wall.
I didn't have to
Which is-
ask you, but I
which
figured
is
we'd
one
do
of
it
the
anyway.
reasons
But this
why-
is the
which
thing.
is-
This is my thing when it comes to Justin Fields. When people tell me that he can't play or he can't throw the ball, he can't be a playmaker. One, go back to his college days at Ohio State. No disrespect.
Watched him play. He was
But
a dog.
he was. You can't tell me he can't pass. The man averaged almost 4,000 yards a season.
Yeah.
In
Well,
Ohio
he
State.
killed us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not that he can't play.
Who
again.
doesn't the play caller trust? Him or the offensive line?
O-line.
I'm like the play.
Yeah.
Luke Getsy needs to take his ass to the couch with the defensive coordinator that quit 2 weeks into the season because you're not you can't
You're not giving him a
expect
chance.
at all. You're not allowing him to be his full potential when you're shortchanging him and still keep doing these little screen passes or these dump passes for 2-3 yards. What are we doing? You have DJ Moore. We have one of the most solid running back rooms that I've ever seen us have in I don't know how many years. And now our defense is starting to look stacked.
Yeah.
But you can't. Why aren't we piecing these things together? There should be no reason why we only have 4 wins this season. There's no reason for that. We should. I'm not saying that we should be in the title for the division because the Lions are playing on a different level. However, there should be no reason that we suck this bad.
I agree.
I agree. At least shooting for a wild card spot. But the fact that this is what we have, it makes no sense to me as set aside as a Bear fan, but it's just watching this team, even watching them last night was just the most frustrating shit I've ever seen. We were robbing them on defense, and we couldn't capitalize on none of these opportunities. 9 fucking points.
Yeah, I believe I messaged Pat and said this is a cripple fight.
Technically 12. We literally won with not scoring a single offensive touchdown.
Well, you answered this question. You answered this question already. Trade that pick. Keep the number 1 pick because it's a guarantee from Carolina. Carolina might not win another football game.
Not the way they're going.
No.
Especially if they hire fucking Greg Olson as their head coach.
Are you shitting me? Is that
the guy who got to rip apart a turkey on Thanksgiving?
He said that if they call, he said that if Carolina calls him, he said he's leaving the booth if they call him.
Yeah.
Did we not learn this lesson with fucking Jeff Saturday?
Apparently they didn't learn it enough. If they're saying,
who's the other guy? Who's the guy that was on Monday night? Did you see with Scott Van Pelt and Ryan Clark and RG3 last night? What was the other guy's name? The defensive lineman. He was on there. He was doing
you talking
SEC.
about the big bald,
bald guy that was there last night.
Yeah.
He said the exact same thing. He said Adam Schefter was on there talking about Frank Wright got hurt or got fired, all that. He goes, listen, you give me $5 million a year, I'll leave this booth right now. I'm like, nobody wants that job. If you, as Frank Wright, just got fired 11 games into the season, how am I supposed to feel trusting that you guys suck? Good coach. You need time. Me and Mike talked about this last week. I am tired of seeing coaches getting the short end of the stick just because your team sucks.
I'm glad you brought this up. That pinned me in the butt cheeks today was the heat that head coaches seem to be receiving. Now, I think the heat is justified in some of these cases, but how the heat is being approached and where is starting to really prickle my spine. It is on the head coach to create the coaching squad to then get the best out of your team, the most offensively and the best defensively. As the head coach, you need to create those guys. But hey, sometimes those guys that you put in those pieces fuck up. So why are you fucking with this dude who's holding all the glue together, right?
There's probably only 3 head coaches that even make decisions on a football team that actually matter outside of coaching. And that's obviously Bill Belichick. I'm assuming in Denver, he has some say as well. And possibly,
I'm pretty sure Andy Reid.
Yeah, I mean, Andy Reid, those 3 guys.
Sean Payton has 0 power outside of coaching.
Yeah.
You don't think Sean Payton?
No, that's in his
contract. The Walton family has came out and said it. He is not a general manager. He is not a vice president. Sean Payton is the head coach. He can make football decisions.
Walmart,
I don't trust anybody who has $4 billion to pay for a football team.
That itself,
he's on my short list for sneaky head coach of the year, by the way.
If he gets fucking Russell Wilson to do a 180 from last year, and my voice got high as fuck because this is how crazy this shit is. If he gets Russell Wilson to do a 180 and get them into even a wild card spot, he has to be top 3.
One of the front runners for comeback player of the year.
That's what I was going to ask. Does this technically justify a comeback player of the year type scenario?
Yeah.
Based off of last year?
I think right now it's him and D'Amico Ryans are the 2 front runners for coach of the year. I think
with Nathaniel Hackett,
Ryan is doing
Wilson
magic
had an 84 QBR with fucking Sean Payton. Old boy's at like a $104, $106 right now. He's 21 QBR points higher this year than he was last
Mike's
year.
vein is popping out the side of his head because I know why. I know
No,
why.
I think
Listen,
that
I know
if-
the Eagles head coach Sirianni deserves a nod.
Deserves
for head coach
it
of the
as
year.
long as the Eagles
I
keep
am
doing
not
what they're
taking
doing.
away from that. However, I'm not taking away from the magic that he's done the last 2 years. I'm not taking away from that because last year there's no way in hell Balbo Baldy should have got coach of the year last year over y'all. However, this year the things that Coach Ryan is doing in Houston with
A
the
rookie
expectation, not just that, the expectation that they weren't going to do shit.
Yeah.
No, they were
And the-
picked to be between them and Carolina for the number 1 pick, I believe.
And the fact that they're in the running for the division.
In the AFC, which is arguably much better than the NFC right now. Now the NFC
It can't go unsaid that if he were to win Coach of the Year, I wouldn't be upset.
If DeMeco Ryans wins Coach of the Year, I'm cool because DeMeco Ryans is a defensive head coach. That's who he is. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Their fucking offense is terrifying.
Do you see
you're-
what they've done with Tank
With
Dell?
a rookie quarterback.
Bro,
throwing to
if
more
you're-
rookies.
if you're
Tank Dell, Nico Collins, I can't remember the third wide receiver, but he hits them all. He
Hits 'em
throws
all.
dots
Yes.
to freaking all of them.
if your cornerbacks and safeties are not on their shit, they will score on you like Miami can.
They're
They
an
will,
offensive
he will tear you
lineman and-
apart.
They're an
And
offensive
then-
line and two defensive players away from a serious run at a Super Bowl.
And then, yes, their defense is as good as I've seen it ever.
What is it? Staley Jr.?
Derek Stingley,
Yes,
from
Derek
LSU?
Stingley, yes. His
Yeah.
dad,
Oh
man.
my
I remember him as
God,
old
like-
man.
the
I'm going to
kid
go
is-
on record and say Houston wins a Super Bowl before Dallas.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
At the rate that they're going right now, if they
Yeah.
keep this
Yeah.
squad the way that they're going, that is a very high possibility.
Yeah, because Dallas
So-
is
Or
going
at
to be
least,
well
or at
over
least
salary
make it
cap.
to a Super Bowl before Dallas does.
Oh,
All right, Charles, you can lead us into that one after Mike makes his point here.
this is my thing, right? DeMeco Ryans, absolutely. If he wins, I will clap and be 100% fine with it. Anybody else can kiss my white hairy ass
Okay,
because
check this out. Chicken the chain. Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Are
Check
the
this
worst
out.
team in the AFC with a winning
They're
record.
with a right, and for the first time, yet they finally. But check this out. What if Mike Tomlin takes Kenny Pickett to the playoffs?
No.
They once
No,
they get to that
because-
meat of their
because here's
schedule,
the
they're not going to
problem.
win anymore.
Here's the problem.
No.
But if they do, he's got to be in the conversation, right?
No.
No.
Absolutely
They're going to
not.
play Baltimore,
Because-
Miami.
No. No.
Here's the difference
sorry.
between Kenny Pickett and CJ Stroud. I
Yeah.
know exactly where Kenny Pickett's ceiling is.
Oh,
You know what
yeah,
Kenny
yeah.
Pickett's ceiling, his highest is going to be?
That
maybe-
fake run back in
Maybe
college.
if no, dude, if the Steelers do a little investing in him, he might get to Phillip Rivers. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So no Super Bowls.
No, oh God, no.
No.
CJ
Children.
Fakes, no more fake slides either.
No. With CJ Stroud, his ceiling could be
Sky's the limit.
anything.
I told
It
my
could be
father-in-law.
It could be
I-
prime Russell Wilson. It could be. Look, this is really early to make this comparison, but it could be rookie Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude.
Well,
Do you
to
know
add
who he
some spice
reminds
on
me?
that.
He
Yeah.
reminds me of Michael Vick's legs with Warren Moon's arm, or
Yeah,
or,
oh,
or
yes.
skinnier
Yeah,
Donovan McNabb.
That's
even.
terrifying.
His,
Yeah.
Dude, he's got it's like, boom, and the ball goes 50.
Boy, he's got a cannon.
Fucking quick snap and
And
release.
he got receivers that could just be anywhere, and he's going to find them.
Him and Tank Dell, that story is a phenomenal story. When,
them getting Tank Dell in
yeah.
the draft because
yeah,
yes,
Steal.
CJ going up. Yeah, CJ going up to the front office and going, listen, I love this dude. I pulled him. I work out with him. Go get him. I want him. And the front office did it. I told my father-in-law straight up, I said, CJ Stroud very well may become Ohio State's Tom Brady.
You know what? What's crazy is CJ Stroud has the potential to be a guy that we see in big games for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And,
Like
and if they were
Patrick
smart,
Mahomes,
they're gonna freaking sign him up for a big
they would give
contract.
him a Mahomes deal. If he
I hope
look,
so.
I'm not saying right now. Obviously,
Right.
he's
No,
still,
not
he's
right
still
now.
got,
Because we got to see
he's
this
still
time
got
next
4
year.
years left on his rookie deal.
He's
Right.
got to
But
stay healthy as well. Yep.
And see, teams will adjust in year 2.
Bro, yes,
yeah.
it's exactly why the Eagles struggle is because now they have a book on you. They know what you do well. So
Right.
next year, if he can
We ain't
be,
that big of a struggle.
anyways,
10-1.
According to the media, they're 1-10. You would not understand that they're the first 10-win team in the NFL.
exactly. But if CJ Stroud can come back next year with D'Amico Ryans, if they don't lose the assets they have around him, because what he has works. If they
Yeah.
don't lose the assets around him and they build that offensive line even better, I can legitimately see making CJ Stroud, if not this year, because I'm biased, but in the future, he could make a serious run at MVP.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
a serious fucking run at MVP.
Yeah, Charles and I
You
spoke
think
about that.
CJ Stroud would be even better if 3 of his largest plays of the season weren't called back because offensive line held when they didn't have to? They don't have Justin Fields' biggest problem is he holds the ball longer than he has to, and
Oh, and
at
it irritates
times,
me.
makes that offensive line
Sometimes he doesn't even throw it.
way worse than they are. CJ
Last
Stroud
night
doesn't
he
have
was just
to
holding
follow.
it too long.
Yeah, and
You know
that's
that
exactly it. That was
most of his
biggest
fumbles too are him carrying the ball with that one hand. It's not that he can't. And most of the time he's already ran for 5 or 6 yards by the time he fumbles that ball.
Just
He's not getting
protect the
sacked when he
ball.
fumbles.
Just protect the ball.
He's trying
Yep.
to do too much. He's trying
He
to
needs
get
to
5
learn.
when
He
only
needs to learn,
3.
but you need a better offensive coordinator to teach him that stuff too. It all comes together
It
when you
does
get
bring
better
up,
coaching.
it does bring up a really good point because Philly and Green Bay is on my short list for coaches of the year. I think if fucking Matt LaFleur does some
If he
magic
somehow
here at
gets them in
Green
the
Bay,
playoffs, he'll be up
gets
there,
them
but he's
into
not.
the playoffs, I'm telling you, you'll
So
hear his name.
I'm glad you say this. I just want to segue into something that just
Yeah.
popped into my head.
Yeah, of
If
course.
I can recollect, I think the last time we had a conversation about these Green Bay Packers, I'm almost certain that Charles said that he could see them going to the playoffs. Do you still believe that?
I hate it, but the Kansas City game is winnable, and the rest of the season could be won out. If the offense plays how it did on Thursday, the defense continues to play how it did on Thursday, not
I
how it did
swear
against
to
the
God,
Chargers.
if the Green Bay Packers find
I'm
a way
telling you,
to
dude.
get a
if they
wild
find a
card
way-
spot,
You look at
Yeah.
our fucking schedule, and it is outside
my
of the Kansas
God.
City. We are projected to win or keep tight the rest of the schedule.
I think they're projected to win 9 games now.
If
Yeah.
Because they're favored the rest of the way. Outside of the
that
KC
is
game, they're
insane.
favored the rest of the
I'm
way.
telling
Kansas
you.
City, what's crazy is KC is absolutely a winnable game for you guys.
Oh, especially
Kansas
if
City
the
is
other's
more
crappy.
than beatable. It is.
But
Yes.
here's the
They are more
problem.
than beatable.
There's 2 problems that you face in Kansas City.
One of them is Andy Reid.
One of them is definitely Andy Reid.
Fuck
The
that
other
Booger Eddie.
is Chris fucking Jones.
Yeah.
That
human
dude-
being.
I
Yeah.
like Green Bay.
And Bakhtiari is not there. I mean,
They're
that's,
not
yeah,
that's the key.
Chris Jones and the Chiefs sacked Jalen Hurts behind the number 1 offensive line in the league 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan Love may not ever see the sky except on his back.
The Bears
Well, if
just
they
proved
don't
you
go
ain't
out of
gotta
shotgun
you
with
ain't
him,
gotta
he's
score
going
a
to get
touchdown
sacked at
to
least
win.
5 times.
Yeah, under center,
Nope,
they're going to
that-
eat his
That
face.
was a low
Oh
blow.
yeah, he's gonna. And what they'll do is they'll stunt him too. They'll probably move him around from the end, and they'll probably move him around a bunch too. Those stunts
Oh,
because they do that a lot.
yes.
I know Chris. He's all over the place on that line.
Speaking of moving people around, next game when we play the Niners, do you know where they're playing Jalen Carter at?
Are they putting him at a
Edge
nose
rusher.
tackle? Oh, edge.
They're going
I
to
thought
put
they-
his ass
Oh,
at
so they're
edge.
giving him space.
Yes.
They're
That
just
is a
saying, "Hey,
big
Perkins,
dude."
I'm coming."
But he's
Hey,
mobile.
hey,
And he's mobile.
hey, Mike.
Yes.
We go way back, right? We're friends. We're
For
brothers.
shizzle.
You know, you were
I
in my
don't
wedding.
I don't know or like where this is going, but okay.
You were in my wedding. You were there. Can you
pretty
not
close.
hurt Brock Purdy next week? Because I'm on a roll right now, and I need him to stay on
Stay
his
the
2
fuck
feet.
away from CMC too, man. Just stay away from
Like,
CMC.
listen, you can rush him.
And you didn't
You can
take
give
it.
him a little love taps, but
I'm
make
on
sure
my
he's
way to
not
the
like.
playoffs, bro. Leave
My
him
wife
alone.
says my wife says no promises, none.
Listen, I don't need him to
There's only-
understand how grass grows. I don't need him to understand that.
There's only one player on the 49ers team that if he gets hurt at the hands of an Eagle, I'm cool with, and that's Debo's little bitch ass Samuel.
No, he's on my team now too. After
I-
Matt
guys are all
Patrick.
All I need is Brock
I'm out
Purdy
of
to give me
playoffs.
at
I don't
least
give a
2.
shit.
Do you know who they're
Hey,
putting?
listen, I've already clinched the playoffs. I'm the number 1 seed. Listen, Mike,
Oh,
I even
man.
changed my name on fantasy football if you haven't seen it already. I said
Dude, I
just
haven't-
another humble Puerto Rican because I'm being
Look.
humble this year.
Dude, I've asked Paul. I've sacrificed every
3
I started
games by
this
now.
year,
3
I've
games he
started-
sacrificed.
bro. I started this year dominating people in fantasy, spanking people, and then the Eagles started struggling, and I literally prayed and I said, if you let the Eagles win, I don't give a shit about my fantasy team. Take both my fantasy teams. Just let the Eagles win.
Oh man.
Bro, this dude, I was supposed to whoop his ass that game that he and I played. I was supposed to whoop his ass. Eagles started struggling. Jalen started performing like a goddamn MVP again. And then my fantasy team went to shit. And they went to shit. You know why? Because he didn't have, I needed 5 yards to AJ Brown. 5 yards. And he missed it. And I lost.
Oh,
But my birds are 10-1.
yeah. Hey
All
man.
right, Char. Let's get to what we wanted to talk about. You wanted to
I'm
talk about
nervous.
the fact that media, NFL on Fox, ESPN, they're all sucking Dak Prescott's cacks.
Yeah, this is really blowing my mind here, and it's crazy. I just had it up and I accidentally clicked it out. But we're going to
The
talk a little
media's
bit.
awful.
We're
I
going
hate
to talk
that.
about
I
a
hate
little bit
ESPN,
Cowboys. Take it away.
CBS, Fox, hate them all. Can't stand them.
I don't know. Here's the thing, okay? Philadelphia is 10-1.
Yes.
So that's 10 wins.
Mhm.
Right?
Yes.
That Jalen Hurts is 14-0. Help me out
Against
with that.
winning teams, yeah.
Against winning teams. Yeah, he's 14-0 against winning teams. We were just talking about this earlier. He is 27-2
In his
He's
last 29
27
games.
in his last 29 games. So as a starter in the NFL, Jalen Hurts is 27-2.
And that's
It's pretty
so
legit.
that's regular season. If you include the playoffs, his total losses increases to 4.
Okay. So and on this podcast,
It's still
we
pretty.
on this podcast, something that we really love doing, we love doing this almost more than anything else, is reading the writing on the wall.
Okay.
You are who your schedule says you are after Thanksgiving. Yeah, and we can say everything we want the first couple of weeks. We can laugh around week 6. But after Thanksgiving, we look at what you've done, not what you could do or where you could go if all of these pieces happen to line in. If the fucking Saturn dances around the moon correctly, Dallas could go into Philadelphia and beat Philadelphia. Guess what, motherfucker? We're in a Jupiter moon or some shit because that just ain't happening. Because the Cowboys.
Talking about the Lions, Charles. He's talking about the whatever moon it was, the moon phase.
Oh, the waxing gibbous for the Lions.
Wax
Yeah,
the
they're
What
moon
is
fucking,
phase.
happening right now?
bro. They're 0-16 when the moon phase is waxing gibbous. I'm telling you, the Lions haven't
Who
won.
comes up with these stats?
The Lions
It-
haven't won on Thanksgiving.
It was
Bro.
crazy because
2016,
it was absolutely true.
Bro, I'm telling you.
That is the most weirdest stat line I ever seen in my life.
No, dude, you don't even know. I'm going to school like these guys know. I'm going to school for sports broadcasting. We have to take a recording stats class.
Yeah.
There are stats on who has the fastest turn from first going from that turn after first to second. Who does that the fastest in the league? There are stats of it literally anything that can be recorded and put into a little fucking column, they put into a fucking column. It's the stupidest shit.
Kyler Murray
That is
in Call of
insane.
Duty. Kyler Murray in Call of Duty is a stat. When a new Call of Duty game releases,
He loses because
That-
he's up all
that-
And
night.
he's
Sunday.
about to go to shit next week
Call
Yeah.
of Duty, every single
because the new Call of Duty came out, but the new season starts December 6th. Arizona's about to be shit for a few
he's about
weeks.
to get shit on. It's in
All right.
his contract that if he underperforms during those weekends, that shit is like fucking taken from him.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
grounded. He can't play Call of
Yeah,
Duty.
dude, I'm telling you, during the football
You gotta be
season,
shitting
yes,
me.
I swear to
Not
God,
only that, it results in fines.
Yeah.
They fine him.
yes.
Charles wanted. Did you ever bring up with them about the Deshaun Watson thing with the penalties?
Oh,
Even though it doesn't matter because he's
right, but even Deshaun Watson had a clause in his contract that if
Yeah.
he had too many unruly penalties, that they could cut him on the fucking spot and not pay him a dime.
Yeah.
So there was a scuttlebutt like around week 4 that Deshaun Watson
That is
realized what was
wild.
happening and didn't want to play anymore until his contract became more guaranteed.
That makes sense to me. Look, everybody when the Deshaun,
Yeah.
when the deal got done, everybody was like, "What the fuck are the Browns doing?"
Yeah,
It was like the worst.
You have to
contract
have an out in that
ever.
contract.
It's
you
not
have
the
to
worst.
have
It
an out.
is the worst.
actually, arguably one of the worst contracts right now is the estimated $25 million a year Bill Belichick is getting paid from the Patriots.
No.
Estimated.
No, the worst contract in the NFL right now is the $45 million a year they're paying fucking Daniel Jones. Who the fuck? How the fuck does Brian
The Pistons
Dable
are paying
still have a
Monty
job?
Williams. The Pistons are paying Monty Williams $13.4 million a year, and they've lost 15 straight.
Yeah, but but that's the NBA.
Yeah, we
Who
won't
gives
talk
a
about
shit?
Pistons.
The Colts still paying Carson Wentz too.
If the
Yeah.
season ended today, the Colts are in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Well,
Bobby
oh,
Bonilla still cashes a check every
Gar-
year for $1 million.
Gardner-
So
We're
Gardner
talking about
Minshew.
We're talking about CJ Stroud. I want you guys' opinions on CJ Stroud versus AR5. Because to me, look, I love CJ Stroud's game. I think AR5 is a better athlete. I don't think he's a better quarterback, but I think when it comes to having the elusiveness and the truck ability I think that goes AR5.
I think
Those two are going to be
yeah.
competing for years to come, and I'm here fucking for it, bro. Those two are the two quarterbacks that I didn't expect anything from, and they're performing out of the draft. They're performing the best.
Where would
I'm like-
where would the Colts be with Anthony Richardson?
I
mean,
think
I mean,
I
AR.
think they would have at least one more victory. I would think. At
I
least
think
one more.
AR is going to be a good quarterback. I'm not taking away anything from this man's ability. This young man's ability. Because
I think we talked about
he's-
this, Mike. He needs to stop running.
that is it right there. This is my
He-
thing.
He thinks he's he's like unbreakable or something.
This is the
That's how he
thing.
got
I think
hurt.
this is the difference between Cam Newton is a perfect example. He was a solid, humongous man. So him taking the hits was a little bit different because his body could clearly it came back and bit him in the ass now.
Right.
You know, because quarterbacks are not meant to get hit like that. They're just
Well,
not. Anthony
He watched
Richardson
that
is
before
not
to do it. Like he ran people over in college because he was bigger than some of the
He
linebackers.
was just a bigger.
but-
Anthony Richardson's not.
You're not
The
bigger
body
than
that he has, he's
linebackers
not-
in the NFL.
Oh, you're not bigger than a linebacker.
No, sir.
And
Sit
they
your
don't-
little ass
they don't
down in that
hit little-
pocket.
Little shoves. Yeah.
One of the things
And this
that
thing,
really
he's elusive. He's elusive, but he's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
and
hit
not
you.
just that, and not just that.
Yeah.
Think about what conference did he play for in college? He played in the SEC,
He
right?
played for
Yeah.
him.
Okay, so he's used to playing against guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis,
Right.
these 330-pound guys that are running 17 miles an hour that will slam you on your fucking neck.
But he's
The
only used to
problem
playing
is-
against a couple of those, not an entire
See,
football team.
That's
of
the thing
those.
that really
The
hits
NFL is a
rookies in
whole
the
lot
face.
different than the SEC.
Yeah.
The NFL is so much faster than college
it's a
football.
whole
It's
different
so
game.
much faster. And the ones that figure that out, it's like the safety
I would love
net
to have like
Justin
Dan
Fields puts himself
Orlovsky
in.
on just to pick his brain about explain. I think they explained this one time. He goes, the difference between a starting, who was it? There was a starting quarterback that explained this. He was trying to explain the Zach Wilson thing. The difference between a starting quarterback in the NFL and the second string guy, he goes, is like 0.4 seconds. This guy can get the ball out of his hands and he can get it to the receiver accurately and on time that much faster.
Yeah.
Because all these guys can make these throws. They do it in practice every fucking day.
They're in the pros for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. You got drafted for a reason. That's the thing is you're in college, you're going up against 3, maybe 4 pros on a defense, 2, 3, maybe 4 pros on an offense. You're going against guys when you get into the NFL who are all pro, who are all decade teams, who are fucking not. Yes, you're getting the best of the best, and even the worst teams, even the Carolina Panthers, who you do not want tackling you is fucking Brian Burns. You know why? Because that dude will put you on your face, and he's on the worst team in the league. So I think these kids, Jalen had to go through it his first 2 years. Hell, even last year when we played at Chicago, Jalen was killing, and then he got slammed and broke his collarbone in that game, and still finished with a broken collarbone. That's the problem. Is these kids don't realize, oh, that motherfucker is as big as a fridge and moves like a Ferrari.
This is why football is the only sport that you have to listen. At a minimum, you're going to school for 3 years because your body has to mature enough to play in the NFL. Basketball, baseball, it's cool. You can jump from as a 19-year-old, 18-year-old and jump into the pros. In football, you can't. There might be a weird, just once in a million person that has a body that could possibly go from high school to the pros. But even in that sense, who? Do
you remember the guy from Baylor back in the day? The dude with the no shirt?
Yes.
He was like
he had number 2, yeah. He got hit with them charges because of some party. Then he played in Canada for a year or something. Yeah. And then he was like that was massive.
Yeah.
But in football, your body has to develop into
you have to be an adult.
Alabama has one of the most outstanding weight room facilities in all of college football. It's been noted by I don't know how many people. Alabama has one of the top training facilities for these players. That's still not enough to prepare you for what the hell is going to come into the pros. Because now in the pros, the pockets are a hell of a lot deeper with these owners when they're building their facilities for their players. And they have the top tier coaches, top tier trainers, top tier facilities. Like these, they're built different. So Anthony Richardson can't continue to run like that and think he's going to last for that long.
No. You have to. That's the thing that Jalen had to learn too. And a lot of running quarterbacks, not RG3, that guy didn't last, but Lamar has had to learn. You can run and be really effective and dice defenses with your legs. Get the fuck down. Learn how to slide. Learn how to get the fuck out of bounds. Don't take unnecessary hits. Yes, you're 24 now. Before you know it, you're going to be 32, and your knees are going to swell up to the size of grapefruits when you walk up the stairs because you've been getting destroyed. There are refrigerators coming at you every play. I love this game because it's violent, and it is the ultimate. I'm better than you, and I'm going to push your bitch ass around and show you sport. There's not another sport in the world that is as rugby, maybe, as hands-on, and I'm going to get goddamn Tua Tagovailoa was missing a fucking 4-inch chunk out of his arm.
Yeah.
This is why we love the game. But it also means that you cannot be 17 and play this game because you will never recover. You will never be able to reach your maturity. You break your leg the way some of these guys break their leg at 17, you'll never walk right.
Yeah.
Like it's
shout out prayers to Zinter and his family too. That was nasty.
Crazy, man. But Paul's 100% right. It's why you cannot go from high school to the pros. You can't do it. Kickers can't do it. Punters can't do it. Even the softest positions on the field, you cannot come in and not be a grown man. Because if you get a grown man who accidentally runs into your knee or your ankle, you're done.
It's a wrap.
Hell, there haven't even been very many coaches that could do it. Who's the only successful? I think Harbaugh was probably the only successful
Nope,
coach
Pete
that ever
Carroll.
did it. Pete Carroll did it, but did
But it
he
took
do
him a
his
second
first
stint.
year?
No.
Yeah, that's true. There's the greatest
I
Look what
college.
happened with Nick
left and
Saban.
came back.
Look
I
what
was
happened with
just
Nick
getting ready
Saban.
to say
Nick
that
Saban.
the greatest
Urban
college coach
Meyer.
in history. Urban Meyer's a trash as
just
human.
dumpster fire.
I know, but I just wanted to poke fun at Ohio State. That's all.
That guy, somebody should hang him up by his big toes, and just in the smallest little bird helicopter, just take him over Lake Superior and just dunk him every so often.
This guy.
Don't.
All right,
You
I
know
want
that-
to. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah, the
Pat.
dude's he's been creepy. He's creepy, man. He's been caught on game day, literally looking at the cheerleaders and stuff. And the fact his wife came out and said that people make mistakes when he cheated on his
Not on
wife. with those-
4K.
Oh man,
Because she knows if she divorces him, she's going to the trailer park. The
I
fuck?
heard the Jaguars players called him disgusting, and that was
Oh,
part of the
yeah.
reason why they treated him like shit.
The freaking ownership was like the ownership hated him too.
Yeah, they're like he's a creep. He's hanging around like the
But you hired him.
cheerleaders and the freaking people's wives and shit. Yeah, he was just acting weird and goofy and whatever. It's
creepy way.
speculation. I don't know, but
I want to take a pivot here as we're wrapping on the door.
Do it.
There's a conversation that caught my ear on the Dan Patrick show, and I wanted to bring it to y'all's doorsteps. Is Mike Evans a Hall of Fame wide receiver?
No.
I don't disagree with you. I'm surprised, actually.
I think
Now,
it's cringe.
I think he's in the Hall of Good. I believe that's what they were saying, the Hall of Good.
I think I
I'll
can
give
see
him
an
the
eventual
Hall of-
push.
Yeah,
I'll give him the Hall of Excellent.
really.
Yes, but he
Mike
is not
Evans.
Hall of Fame.
he's Tampa's Hall of Fame. Sure.
So he's got
absolutely.
Oh,
he's got
should
11.
absolutely
go
He's
in
got
the Ring of Fame.
11,000 yards, 90 touchdowns.
I think he should absolutely go in Tampa Bay's Ring of Fame. If he does go in the Hall of Fame,
What if he gets a Super Bowl MVP?
if he gets absolutely.
So then
Because
that
if you
brings
do
up my
enough-
next point.
If you do enough in the season to help get your team to the Super Bowl, and then you do more than your quarterback does, and you win MVP, absolutely, you're a Hall of Famer.
Because on the
To
Hall
me.
of Fame list, he just passed AJ Green.
All right, let me ask you a question. Then. I'm gonna just say these stats.
Yeah,
This is a Hall of Fame receiver.
yeah.
1,094 receptions, 14,934 receiving yards, and 100 touchdowns. Is that a Hall of Fame? Those are Hall of Fame numbers, right?
Yeah.
All right. This man played between. Let me see. He played. Dang it. From 1988
1988 to 2004.
2004.
Who's that?
This is Tim Brown.
I don't know who that is.
So if
Played for
Tim
the
Brown,
Raiders.
he played for the Raiders.
I
He played
look,
with Jerry Rice.
And on the Hall of Fame list, he's just below Chris Carter.
So,
Okay.
if Tim Brown, somebody apparently you don't know who the hell he is, but Tim Brown, he wasn't the most exceptional, like he wasn't that kind of like number one receiver, but he was a reliable receiver. He can make it into.
See, but I'll tell you the deciding factor, right? Tim Brown was a 9-time Pro Bowler.
Correct.
And Tim Brown also was on the Hall of Fame All 90s team.
does
Right,
he have
Charles.
any all? Does he
Mike
have all
Evans-
pros?
Yes. Mike Evans has 0 All Pros and only 2 Pro Bowl appearances in his almost 10-year career now.
Well, do you
Well,
want
we
to know
know
someone
Pro
who's
Bowls
got
don't mean
comparable
shit, though.
stats? No,
that-
Pro Bowls don't.
They don't
They're voted on by
today.
the fans.
But
That's fucking flag football, but
In the 90s, they
selected-
meant something. In the
But
90s,
being-
they meant something. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
being selected still has
There's some
Right. It
percentage
has,
to it.
it has a merit to it. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately what's going to if Mike Evans gets into the Hall of Fame, let's just say he keeps the projection in his career, he's going to make a Pro Bowl one more time if he's traded to a better team. Honestly, I think that's what it's going to boil down to. If Mike Evans wants to be in the Hall of Fame, he needs to leave Tampa Bay. I think him and Devante Adams are going to be two very interesting conversations at the end of next year.
He probably will get in the Hall of Fame because it's voted on by. There's a committee out there who would say, yes, he's got comparable stats as someone like Art Monk or, someone like you just stated.
Right.
By the time he's done, he'll have 14,000 yards receiving and probably 100 and some touchdowns.
If he gets
So
in,
does Devante.
Adams will get in.
If he
Not
stays
if
with the
no.
Raiders? No, if he's
No,
I'm
I
saying,
think
if they
stay with
both
the
walk
Raiders.
away right now, who has a better
No.
shot at making it to the Hall of Fame?
Oh, Mike Evans.
Adams.
Mike Evans.
I think
Mike
Mike
Evans.
Evans.
Wait,
Mike
wait.
Evans
Hold on, wait.
statistically has a better career.
Yeah.
Statistically.
All right. So Mike Evans
And a Super Bowl.
Devante Adams.
And a Super Bowl.
Okay.
They both have Super Bowls. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Doesn't
Mike Evans
Devante
won one
Adams
with
have a
Tom
Super
Brady.
Bowl?
I don't think Devante had.
Yeah.
I don't think he did. He get one with? Was he there?
I don't think Devante wasn't there for that Super Bowl. He
I don't
was
think
there
he
for
No,
a Cy Young
Mike
loss.
Evans won a Super Bowl.
That's what we were saying. Yeah.
Oh,
Evans has
well.
a Super Bowl.
Oh. Look, if Devante Adams goes to a legit team, the Pats pick him up. One is retarded scary. That's insane. But if he goes to the Pats and he has another 1,000-yard, another 10 touchdown season, and they get to the Super Bowl, absolutely he's a Hall of Famer. 100%.
What if Seattle makes the Bears an offer they can't refuse on Fields and then picks up Mike Evans?
I don't. Want
Are you pushing this for him to get in the Hall of Fame to be a Bear or what? I don't get it.
I don't want that.
I think the Bears
This is
have
the thing.
enough
So
Hall
let-
of Famers.
I think
Let's-
Justin
let's
Fields would be great in Seattle.
Let's just compare the stats.
But-
Okay, so
Yeah.
for Adams and Evans, so targets, receptions, Evans got it with. Devante has it with 838 to 737. Catch percentage 64 to 57. Adams. Receiving yards, Evans has it with 11,275 to 10,451. Touchdowns, Adams has it over one. But
They both came in at the same time. This is a conversation that's going to go.
it's
to
a
the Hall of
tight.
Fame
It's
also.
tight.
So Evans has more yards and like way less receptions. What's the
Right.
yards per
But
reception?
I'll tell you,
has
on the
gotta be
Hall of
way
Fame-
Yards
fucking
per
higher.
reception is 15 to 12. Evans.
But see, that's a lot when you think about it for
wonder
a
what he's-
career.
what is his yak?
Now check this out though.
Well, yeah,
That's what I'm saying,
true.
yards-
That makes a difference.
How many Devante Adams has more?
Yeah,
Pro
yards
Bowls
per reception and
because
yak
of
aren't the
Aaron
same thing.
Rodgers.
That's true too, Charles. That we got to bring that into consideration. He had a better
Devante
quarterback
Adams
as
has
well.
had Aaron, but the Hall of Fame voters feel the same way. Right now on this Hall of Fame watch list,
Who was Mike
Devante
Evans'
Adams is
quarterback
well above Mike
before
Evans.
Josh Norman.
Tom Brady?
Josh Norman, Jameis Winston, and then a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
He had a
Winston for,
bunch
what,
of
2
X.
years?
That's what he had.
But
Yeah.
he still managed 1,000 yards a season every
Dude, did you see?
time
Did
he's
you see
played over
Jameis
1,000.
Winston rapping at
Yeah.
halftime on the sideline?
Yeah, he was giving it to the old carboy.
We're not
Yeah.
going to talk about that clown.
Mike Evans is climbing the list. I don't know if he stays in Tampa Bay. I don't know. I think because if you keep going up the list, like DeAndre Hopkins, Chad Johnson, fucking Gary Clark.
So what if he gets the exact same or similar, give or take a few, as Tim Brown? But he also
I don't
has
know.
a Super Bowl
I don't-
over Tim Brown.
Yeah.
Again, I know the All-Pro and all that jazz is great. I get
I think
that.
the Super
I'm
Bowl
not
gets
ta-
him in. I think
I
the Super
do
Bowl
too.
gets him in.
If he can somehow get to 15,000 yards and let's just say 115, 120 touchdowns, and he gets to maybe 950 receptions, close to 1,000 receptions for his career. I'm like, stats. I'm not saying that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but an eventual Hall
On
of
the
Famer is
list.
definitely in the
I mean,
future.
realistically,
touches
eventually they're
15,000
probably
yards-
all Hall of Famers. Everyone that you said.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, I
If-
believe.
If he touches 15,000 yards, he'd only be the 6th wide receiver to do it.
There's
Yeah.
no way that you don't get him in there. Just
There's
based
no
on
way.
I'm-
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because, again, at this point, the Hall of Fame is just a talent show at this point.
15,000 might get him to be a first.
I think if he touches 15,000
I'm like-
yards, yeah.
because that's
Yeah,
huge.
I believe
One
it.
of only 6 people to do it. That's
I mean,
yeah.
because on that
And this
list
is-
you've got Jerry Rice, number 1, 22,895 yards. I just wanted to say that so we could remind people how ridiculous that is.
Then he also played like 18 or 19 years though. Too. I mean,
1985 to 2004.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you also have to take into account, like when Jerry was at his heyday,
9
motherfuckers
seasons.
were killing receivers over the
9
middle.
yeah.
Like he was
seasons.
that dude. I love Jerry. I love watching old Jerry Rice footage. of
Watching
him.
Jerry Rice
when
just pick the
Larry
ball up over dudes'
Fitzgerald in
heads and freaking run
16
right past
seasons
them. Yeah.
got 17.5. Larry Fitzgerald in
does-
16 seasons got 17.5.
What
That's
does
number-
Randy Moss have?
Randy Moss is number 4,
Oh, really? I actually
Yeah.
thought he would be like 8.
15,292, and Terrell Owens is number 3. So that would be your top 4: Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, Terrell Owens, and Randy Moss.
See, I'm
And
okay
That's
with all
you
4
know,
of them.
that's a
guys.
that's a list to be a part
934.
of that I would be okay with
Right.
as a receiver.
And then you've got Isaac Brown coming in at number 5, and then Tim Brown at 14,934. So that's what I'm saying. I
So
mean,
if you pass Tim Brown, that kind of just makes you like,
I mean,
yes, he
even
has
getting
all these all pros, but I got these stats plus a Super Bowl.
10
Look,
passing 14,000 yards gets you in the top 12.
it's so impressive. If dude gets 14,900 yards, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That shit is
Yeah.
insane. The company of receivers that you just listed is literally
It'd be insane.
everybody in our
That
generations, Mount Rushmore of receivers. Like,
Yeah.
And on that list too, I didn't even tell you that. I mean, he has, outside of Larry Fitzgerald, Jerry Rice, and Randy Moss, he has tied or more touchdowns than everyone else on that list.
that's literally, it's okay. Jerry Rice, prototype receiver you want in the 80s and 90s. Randy Moss, prototype you want in the 90s and 2000s. You're talking about the 2 best wide receivers of their era, and there is no argument. Of his era, Jerry Rice is hands down the GOAT and probably the best wide receiver ever.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
probably not much. He's probably the only sport that you can say that about too.
He's
mean,
number
outside of
12 all
tennis or
time in
golf, yeah.
touchdowns. He's
And-
12th all time in touchdowns right now.
The crazy thing is, if I say that to a Cowboys fan or a Niners fan or a fucking even a Seahawks fan, they're not going to argue because Jerry Rice literally, I can
Yeah, they
show
were
my
also-
kids, I show my
Yeah.
kids footage all the time of Jerry Rice just sticking his hand up on a go route and just making motherfuckers look like they're using walkers. It's insane. So yes, if he gets a 14,900 yards, he's in the Hall of Fame for me.
From 2010 to 2020, 7,506 yards, 75 touchdowns. That's your boy Des Bryant, Dallas Nation. Fuck him, he's trash.
It was a catch.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
So
This is
we
the
can all
thing.
agree that he gets the 14,900 yards. He's in the Hall
Yes.
of Fame. That's all.
Yeah.
We
I
all
think-
pretty much agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 14,000
And-
yards, he's a first ballot.
And that's
Yeah.
going back to Charles saying it's a what if.
Yeah.
Clearly, we don't know if he's gonna make it to that because we
I
don't know
don't
what the
think
future
he
entails.
definitely doesn't do with Baker Mayfield or whoever else Tampa Bay is going to pull up.
What is he at? What did you say he's at right now?
He's at
11,000.
11,000.
11,000.
So he's got
11,000.
3,000
It's
yards.
not impossible.
So he realistically, if he goes to a situation where he's
Plays 3 or 4 more years after, probably three
Yeah,
and a
he-
half years after the season.
well, I was gonna say you could legitimately do it in 2 years if you get a 1,500 yard season. I'm not saying that's easy to do.
He
have to
he
go
said he's got to go to a good team, a
You'd
different
have
team.
to go to you'd
Right.
have to go to the Chiefs. You literally
Yeah.
would have to go to the Chiefs.
I think even with the Chiefs, realistically, I think it would be 3, maybe 4 years because it's to think And I'm not saying that it's impossible for him to drop down 1,000 yards. I'm not
No,
saying it's impossible.
there's only two teams off the top. The way that Philly throws the ball in, maybe Miami. Those are the only two places I can see him going
I can
with
see
those,
him
with those
averaging 800
offenses.
to 900 yards. 8 to 900 yards. If he does that for 3 to 4 years, he could definitely get to 14
Okay,
to 15,000 yards.
so then what we're saying is Mike Evans is going to get there because for a career, he's only played 148 games. He's at
Right.
11,275 yards at 100. He's averaging just under 870 yards a season.
Does he have a crazy injury history?
No.
Not at
No.
all. In
Then
fact, he got most of these
Didn't
yards.
he have
with
7
of the
years
worst-
or
He was
Some
number
people like
2
quarterback.
behind. He was close to Favre. He was like not that far behind him as far as consecutive
Iron
games
Man,
played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just close to Favre because Favre was
Yeah.
ridiculous, wasn't it? It was years.
Thank God old boy McAdoo came in and fucked Eli, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was crazy.
Oh fuck, man, fucking
Ben
Eli, man.
McAdoo.
I tell you what, this time we jumped on the wide receivers. The next time we chat, we'll pull up some Hall of Famers. We'll do an offensive line, maybe a defensive line.
Do you really want to piss people off? I just saw a meme on freaking Facebook about the Barry Sanders thing that he couldn't hack it in the playoffs. And I said, dude, fucking Walter Payton didn't even score a touchdown in the Super Bowl that he won. For God's sakes, he was terrible in that Super Bowl. You want to play that game? People are stupid.
Hey.
I didn't take,
No,
Let's
but I'm
calm
saying
down
people
with the
will sit there and talk about someone's career based off
mean the
one
fact.
game or the playoffs. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not true, but let's not get so hasty with the words.
But this is the thing, right? Like people, I don't know, man. The Hall of Fame is so subjective anymore because
It took Randy Moss way too long to get in.
Oh,
for one.
absolutely.
The fact
but
that it took the second year for T.O.'s eligibility to get the fact that he didn't get in his first year is stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's there's 100%.
They almost
Yeah.
Metallica themselves with the fucking Rock Hall of Fame. They almost found themselves in a situation where ain't nobody with a brain gives a fuck anymore.
Yo,
I think that writers shouldn't have majority of the votes for any of the Hall of Fames, and it should be like
Oh, for
It should
any
be
players
sport.
that are in the
players.
media.
Yes,
Yeah.
it should be former players in the media. Absolutely.
Period.
Players,
Just
coaches.
like how they do the Heisman, former Heisman winners vote on majority of who's going to win the Heisman. Like they
I
think
tried
that
to
should be
convince
it.
Charles of this, but he doesn't understand. He
Writers
seems to
should
think
not-
that-
should not
seems
have
to
a
think
say.
that it's based off of their heart and emotions.
What
I'm
did I
telling
say,
you, man,
Mike?
Harrison
did I say?
Jr.'s got
This is-
zero shot. That's what sucks.
This is the thing that irritates me about the Hall of Fame, and I'll leave it at this. I told this to Mike before, and I'll stand on this hill till Jesus takes me away whenever that day comes. There's no earth, there's no world in whatever universe you live in that you don't put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Or Pete
good,
Rose even.
bad,
I mean-
ugly, it does not matter. Because at the end of the day, Mike, I asked you this question when we talked about this, and I'll ask Charles and Pat this. The Hall of Fame is to induct players into the players and coaches and personnel to tell what? To tell the history of the game.
Yeah.
Good, bad,
the
or
greatest
indifferent.
story.
You're telling
The
a
greatest story.
history. You're telling the story about the sport. Whether you like the era of the steroids, when it came to the baseball era, it
It's the
still
funnest
was one of
era
the
in
most
the history of
exciting
baseball.
thing that happened in baseball, and I don't know how long. Whether you
Well, in
liked it or
fact,
not.
Major League Baseball got caught juicing the balls, and they were responsible for it. So how can they be the ones to take it away from those guys?
Well,
Well,
that's
So
way-
the
with the
fact that
direction
you don't want
gambling
to
is going.
acknowledge,
that too.
right? Exactly. You gotta let Pete Rose in now. You have to let him in.
How do you not?
It's just
Now gambling
don't-
is sponsoring the fields.
Like-
There's football
like-
fields and sporting
like
events now
it's
that are sponsored.
I
Draft
don't
teams
understand.
all
You got
over
every
everybody,
you got
yeah.
every American sports team in Vegas.
The
at this
fact
fucking
that
point.
the fact that you're letting writers in their little hissy fit having whatever they feel about a player, not letting him in the Hall of Fame. Listen, even if I don't know if y'all have ever played MLB The Show, and I'll leave
Yeah.
it at this.
Yeah.
If you ever go to the records in the game for both home run titles, do you know what it says on there? San Francisco Giants. It does not
Yeah, it
even
doesn't
say his name.
Bonds. Mm-mm.
Do you know how
Wow.
disrespectful that shit is?
That's
Yeah.
I didn't know. That's
Do you-
crazy. as
I
shit.
love baseball today because of Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds.
Of course
You
Yeah.
can't talk about it
Yeah.
if you don't mention that. There's
Bro,
no way
sorry.
on earth. I'm telling you,
sorry.
I was there every day watching Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire go for that record every
Bro.
single
Old
night.
Major League
Every
Baseball.
single day.
They
Yeah.
need to make a new Major League Baseball thing and make it like the old Nintendo game where the dudes are all juiced and jacked, and we'll just call it Juice
Listen,
24.
whatever. Like,
Yeah,
Look,
I
come
don't
on.
care. I want them hitting
I-
it into New York City.
Yes, I absolutely detest the sport of baseball because they're fraudulent as fuck. Mark
Yeah.
McGwire and Sammy Sosa ushered in a renaissance of baseball that the only reason guys like Clayton Kershaw and guys like Mike Trout are known nationally is because everybody, when they hit 59 and 60 home runs, the entire country was I don't give a fuck if you like the Cubs, the Cardinals, the A's. It didn't matter. I was a Yankees fan,
Right.
I-
Remember when
Ooh.
Aaron Judge was chasing history, remember?
bro.
And I
Home
every
run?
second
Home runs in the MLB make it watchable for kids. That era made it to where all of my friends wanted to play baseball. Black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, didn't matter. Everybody. Do you see how much pussy this dude's getting hitting a home run? What
Yeah.
the fuck is
like 72
Because they
home
were
runs, 72
superstars.
home runs in one season.
It's
they were
just
like-
superstars.
It's just insane. Do you know? And another thing too, I remember it growing up. The Little League World Series on TV is nothing new.
Nope.
And
Right.
every single time a team comes up, you would always get a little bit of information from them and who their favorite player was. In that day, every
Let me guess.
single fucking Little Leaguer
The
was
top
Mark
four
McGwire,
players. Yep.
Sammy Sosa, or Barry Bonds. It didn't matter. There was nobody else in those matches. You could go back and you could watch every single, except for the foreigners. They might have
Well,
somebody.
Mark
And
McGwire. There was a few Mark
and-
McGuires in there
and-
too.
Let's not like. I hate Jose Canseco, but he was up there
Yeah,
during
fuck
that
that
time
guy.
too.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah, well,
fucking
'cause he
hate
outed
him.
Remember when that
everybody for
fucking
the roids?
baseball hit off his goddamn.
Oh my god, I fucking hate that dude. But Jose Canseco was during the '90s for the A's.
Yeah.
That dude was on his.
He was in
shit.
one of my favorite movies, Liar.
Is his book the one that outed Barry Larkin and those guys for the Reds snorting coke
All
off
of
the
them.
strippers in the
All
freaking
of them.
clubhouse?
Yep.
Isn't that the book?
Dude, he wasn't even dry snitching. He was straight snitching
Oh
on
no, yeah, it was true.
If
everybody.
I'm going down, everybody's
Yeah,
coming with
oh,
me.
yeah.
You know who I thought would do that before Jose? I thought Pete Rose would have done that
Yeah.
and just outed it because Pete Rose was around in a time where everybody was racist. Everybody was trying to fuck.
Have
all
you
the
heard the
stewardesses.
call that when Jackie Robinson first came up to the plate? Have you heard? I think Pat sent me the radio call.
No, but
yeah.
it doesn't. Nothing would surprise me if they're not. If they don't use an N bomb, I'll be surprised.
They were
No,
actually.
they probably definitely dropped that one.
It was more along the lines of, "Oh, and here comes that boy from the Dodgers, and he ain't ever gonna hit off a whole screw."
One of
off
these
there."
days
funny.
we should get together and do the biogenesis thing. That is that's a crazy thing. It's got all the players and all the information. You can dig into it, all the times that they were shot up with stem cells and all this other shit.
What
It's
the
nuts.
hell?
It goes from 2005 to 2023. It is crazy.
And then I think his first at bat, I believe Jackie hit a home run. Fucking radio. Oh,
Dude,
fuck.
you know what's funny? I was on. Where was I on? Oh, I was on TikTok today, and they were talking about Jackie Robinson. There's this comic who's coming to San Antonio, and I saw. I don't mean to do his joke, but it's
No,
funny
you-
as shit, and it's crazy that you just brought this up, because he was like, it used to be cool to be a white dude until Jackie Robinson got up to plate at the first time. He was like, look, back in the day, we used to all talk, yeah, we had this little gangster, and then Jackie Robinson hit the first home run the first time he's up at the plate in the major leagues, and we all said, oh, that sucks. And he took that right out of our fucking voices. That's the day when it stopped being cool to be a white guy.
The thing that really pisses me off about that too, not to go down too far down the side quest, right? With cancel culture and all this shit, you're not going to learn if you don't allow us to burn ourselves on the stove. We are a society of hot stovers. I told my psychology teacher this, a professor. I go, we're a society of hot stovers. How do you find out the fucking stove is hot? You
touched
touched
it.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how we learn fucking growing up. Get over it. It's your whole fucking life. There it is, right? So if we can't go back and watch how bad these motherfuckers burn themselves, how am I not going to know? Obviously, be a good human, but how am I not going to know, right? Like,
History's there, and if you
the
don't know your
fucking
history, you're
humor.
doomed to
Oh
repeat
my
it.
God. Like, I laugh at the South Park episode too, right? It's, oh, is he a Harley driver riding down the road fucking at 10 o'clock at night throwing the shit up? That's a fag. I don't think he's gay. He's just a fag. Not all gays are fags, right? Like, yes.
Look, man, this is all I'm gonna say about this. I truly and utterly 100% believe in the freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
I believe you should be able to burn a flag. Don't do it in front of me because I'll punch you in the fucking mouth. But I
Right.
believe 100% that you should be able to do it, right? I believe that you should be able to protest wherever you want to protest, minus people's houses. I
'Cause I
believe
will shoot
you.
you.
Yeah. But you should be able to voice your opinion, right?
Yeah.
I think what's getting in the way of everything is people are afraid to say, I don't give a fuck if you're offended about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm telling you how I feel. Now, I do not go out of my way to offend anybody. I
Right.
am not a racist. I'm not a homophobe. I'm not a transphobe. I go out of my way to be a decent human being to people. However, comma, to quote my boy, however, comma, if you are fucking stupid or you're acting fucking retarded, I'm going to tell you you're acting fucking retarded.
I have way more fun.
I don't care. Look, like, I don't care that people get offended by that word. I'm not saying that you are mentally retarded and that you can't learn. I'm telling you that you fucking moron. I hate that you're a fucking moron.
My wife calls me autistic all the time. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
Can we just agree that
Been proven it many times.
Can we just agree
Been
that
called
you're stupid and I'm telling you that
Yeah.
you're stupid? The other thing too, though, is the people who go out of their way to be offensive. I fucking hate those people.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're just saying shit like, okay, there was somebody on Twitter, again, I hate fucking Twitter or X or whatever it's called.
I'm
still on
starting
it.
to hate it now.
It is a
Starting
great
to hate it as
promotional.
well.
It's a great promotional tool for the podcast.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
outside of that, so I saw this guy, and this is a quote. This is not my words, but this is a quote. He was having a back and forth between Jalen Carter and a 49ers fan. And the 49ers fan was like, why don't you shut your fat monkey face up, black boy? And I was like, what the fuck?
Like, you got to be so dumb, right? You got to be
Do you
got to be really
understand-
dumb that when you're so mad, the only thing you resort to is that. Like,
Do you understand that and this guy was 49ers to the socks.
yeah.
I wanted to DM and be like, do you understand that your team is 97% black?
Yeah.
97% of the people on your team are people of color.
Yeah.
Those people are solely ignorant and they live their entire lives in this ignorant little shell. That's the problem. They don't see anything else outside of that.
No.
And
We
they're
had
never
to
going
say
to,
one
no matter
thing.
how much you put it in their face.
It's
I just
because
wanna
you know
say
what it
one
is?
thing. And Mike knows this, and I will let you finish, Mike. Mike knows this. I have taken pride and joy. You guys haven't seen it yet, but you will soon because it's around that time of the year where Christmas is time for presents. I tend to bring out the idiots with some of my posts, and I do it on purpose. I say some of the most dumbest shit. I may not even believe most of the things that I say. However, comma, I know the
trolls
shit
are
that I'm
funny.
about to post, it's going to piss off a lot of ignorant,
I love it.
racist pricks.
Oh.
And I have the most nonchalant, irritating response to everybody that says something stupid on my post. I say, thank you for your comment. You are truly appreciated. God bless your heart. Have the day you deserve.
Bro,
Oh, it's
I
gotta
get stuck
burn
on the
this that
shitter at
much
times
more.
reading your comments, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh,
It's
Charles
wonderful.
and I freaking
it's
love it.
gonna get
we try to
worse. It's
poke the bear too. It's
Oh,
great.
it's gonna get bad. But the last thing I'll say is this: the thing that separates our generation from future generations or this generation now is when we talk shit, we got punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast.
Motherfuckers, if you talk shit in high school, you got your fucking face punched in. And
Yeah.
then, I can't tell you how many fights I got in with best friends because they said some stupid shit or I said some stupid shit. And then you shake it off. But this
I got punched in
generation
the
now,
face.
this
We were playing
generation now-
football.
yeah.
Here's a little story. You're gonna laugh. We were playing football 4th grade in the schoolyard, and
Yeah.
this kid threw a shitty football. So I said, "Dude, you suck at being a quarterback. I'm gonna be quarterback." He walked right up to me and punched me in the face, broke my glasses. I probably
those are
deserved it
fighting.
for being an asshole. But guess what? Guess what happened? Picked my broken glasses up and said, "Shit, I'm gonna be grounded, and it's my fault." And guess what? I went home and told my mom, "Yeah, I got punched in the face." Why? Oh, I call the kid pretty much an asshole, and he throws like a girl. You probably deserve to get punched in the face because you're being a dick.
Yeah.
So we grew up like that.
Here we are.
We took our licks.
Well,
It was a
something-
normal thing back in the day.
Something this most recent generation has figured out somehow or another, and it's super annoying. We even made a comment about it in the segment what rotates our gears in the opposite direction, is that nobody ever told them not to make stupid people famous, right? So these dumb motherfuckers come out there and just say something special, and it pisses somebody and their mom off. And then they go and talk all about it, when if you just would have held it to your fucking self, no one would know how famous an idiot can get.
I agree, Charles. But the problem is, we live in a society of freaking idiots.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't. No matter what we
You know who would do
realistically
really
think,
well?
they're
in
still going
this
to be
time?
famous.
Darwin
Yeah.
would love this day and age.
Think about it, dude. The
fuck
fucking
is stupid.
Kardashians still rule society. Think
Oh,
about this
yeah.
for
Yeah.
a second.
There's a
If
weird
you
hierarchy there too.
Take away Beverly Hills, take away the mansions, take away the Ferraris, put them in a trailer park, give them a fucking RAV4 instead of a Ferrari. They're trailer trash.
Yeah.
They're
But, like,
absolutely.
who are they really?
They're exactly. They're trailer trash. Think about it. Courtney has 87 kids by a baby daddy who beats the shit out of her every day. What is more trailer park trash than that?
Yeah. And imagine the message that's sending out too.
Chloe, her fucking ex-husband, almost died in a fucking brothel, like overdosing on crack.
The whole Lamar thing is just, it doesn't make any
Have you?
sense to me. I never could wrap my
Does
head around
anybody
that
else
one.
follow Lamar on socials? I
No,
do.
absolutely
He's
not.
so
Oh
stupid, I
man.
can't.
Oh man.
Do I
Oh,
want to?
man.
I do not.
So I
I don't
want
know if I
all
want to
of
go down that rabbit hole.
All of his
No.
websites connect to an insurance website that lets you know if you can keep talking to him whether your insurance will cover his shit or not. It's fucking wild. It's
It
wild.
sounds really sketch.
Yeah. They,
not.
they
I'm
don't
gonna
fucking-
pass on that one.
Yeah.
Charles, are you using NordVPN? You need to protect yourself.
Yeah, bro. On my brand.
Yeah,
new
you
Google
might be
Pixel
getting some
8.
emails you didn't think about.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I didn't click on that shit. What the hell is this?
Oh,
That's funny.
No,
Well,
That's so funny.
we're approaching time, my fellas. Listen, I want to give you guys a moment again to shout out your podcast and just effing thank you guys so much. I love our conversations. It's such a blast.
We always have fun. It's great.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, this man, I know I can speak for Sal on this, man. I appreciate you guys having us on. Like it's dope. We had a fucking 45-minute conversation before we even started recording.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
still had way
As I
more
was
to talk
struggling
about
with my
when we were
audio.
recording. Which is super rare. So we definitely enjoy it. You guys check out the Heat Check podcast. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. If you go
Everywhere.
and search your Heat Check on everything or the Heat Check podcast on everything, you'll find us. You can look on Teespring for the Heat Check podcast. That's where our t-shirts, our hoodies, we've got banners, we've got blankets, I've got dog shirts, we've got beanies. It's all there. It's a drop ship site. So you hook it up. There is a 25% code off of that. Just type in your Heat Check at checkout, and that's a 25% savings code. Oh, yeah. I do want to shout out. I'm starting to do this little offshoot of the podcast called the Chaos Club, where it's just 10 little minutes of me giving kind of my own opinion on stuff that Paul and I have maybe not had a chance to talk about. I know we're talking about Paul maybe starting one here shortly. So
Yes.
you got what do you got? What do you got, big dog?
I just want to piggyback off of Mike. Listen, we're trying to grow this thing, and we appreciate everybody that follows us and listens to us. And again, thank you guys for letting us come back on the show again. And clearly, y'all guys are gonna come back on ours. I just got one shout out that I have to say that's non-sport related.
Yeah.
Because my wife would kill me if I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Next week, I think it's next week. Let me make sure if I get my ass chewed out. No, it's not next. Yeah, wait. Yeah, next weekend. Next Saturday. I won't be here, Mike, as Mike knows, because next weekend I will be in Georgia celebrating our 6th year anniversary of being married. But I just got a question because I get excited every time I get to say where we're going. Guess where we're going?
Where?
We're going to Cummings, Georgia.
Hits you every time.
Shout out to my
More
wife.
than once.
Shout out to my wife.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's been an absolute blast. Patrick, I'm going to give you the floor to end her off. Man, I love you guys. I love you all so much.
I know we really appreciate having you guys on. As always, we're gonna have plenty of freaking little reels, and I will definitely shoot those back to you, Mike, because I know you like to work with those a lot. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll touch base. And until next time.